So what you want to look for inside a cab for a DOT inspection is you want to look and make sure all the windows aren't cracked, any of the mirrors on the outside aren't shattered, and basically you want to make sure everything is operable. Like you want this should pull out when you get about to 60 psi, and this should get pushed back out too, just like that. That's how it should work. All your lights should be working. Your wiper blade should be working. Should shoot some stuff on the window, you know, lubricate it so you can get it off, you know, stuff like that. Also, you need the horns to work. Just like that.
Alright, another thing you're going to want to check is the lights. You're going to want to make sure that every factory light, all the lights up top, your blinkers are working on each side, which I don't know if you can see, but they are. Side marker lights. Come all the way back. Back lights, reverse lights. Hit the brakes! Alright, and then high and low beams. So, alright, now switch them. And that's also working.
Alright, you want to check the rubbers in here, make sure there's no cracking or anything, make sure they look good. These look alright. And Thomas hit the brakes. You don't want any air leaks in these either. These are good.
So what you want to look for when you're doing a DOT inspection is, for the suspension, you want to make sure the steering shaft is nice and tight and these U-joints don't pop or move at all up on here and there. You want to make sure that the shock right here is loose. Also, if you could probably take a pry bar and put it in between the leaf spring and the bushing there and pry on it, see if the bushings are shot. You want to move the pitman arm right here on the gearbox. Make sure it doesn't have any play. Check the drag link. Make sure that this casting nut has a cotter pin on it. All the casting nuts, make sure they all have cotter pins on it. You want to check and make sure the kingpin is nice and tight. You want to take a jack up in the center of this axle here. Check for bearing play. What you want to look for on the foot wheel plate is you want to make sure that it doesn't have any play. Make sure the pins are all tight. You want to make sure the jaw closes fully. It'll latch on. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got. So what you want to look for underneath this truck is you want to look and make sure none of these bushings are dry rotted or tore. This one looks okay. You don't want to make sure the leaf springs aren't cracked or messed up in any way. You want to make sure all these U-bolts are tight, nothing's all in place, like this blocker. Make sure that the block isn't shifted or the pin sheared off it. You want to check for the brakes, make sure the brakes are all okay, no cracking, or you want to make sure they're in spec. You want to make sure that the drums are they're not cracked or anything like that. You want to look and make sure that the wheel seals don't leak. You want to look up in the frame rails. You want to make sure the frame rails aren't bent or cracked or anywhere. You want to make sure there's no major leaks on the engine, which this one has a leak right up here. That would fail inspection. It's got a fuel leak also. If we go back here, you want to check for, make sure the exhaust system doesn't have any leaks. Make sure all the clamps are tight. You want to look for anything that would possibly make this truck fail. You want to make sure all these braces over here are not cracked, the bolts are loose or missing. This tank leaks. This tank would fail. You want to make sure none of the U-joints are messed up or anything like that. Looking back, I want to check the carrier bearing. Try to make it move. If it doesn't move, or the bearing isn't messed up, then it would pass. So I want to make sure nothing's messed up with the frame. You want to check the brake chambers, make sure the springs aren't messed up. This one would pass. Really easy way, just look in there if the spring looks straight. You want to check everything. You want to check all the shocks, make sure the shocks don't leak. Make sure all the suspension brackets are broke or cracked. Want to make sure these bolts right here, all the bolts for the suspension components are just tight, not broke or nothing like that. You want to look at your tires. Make sure all your tires are good. Check all your wheel seals. Just basic things. Make sure your frame rails aren't bent in back here. Or that brace right there isn't cracked.